All right. I'm here with Dave Kennedy from Fidelity Land Title. Hey, Dave.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Great. So, Dave, we have run across some titles that have very discriminatory language in them. And it's like
Hmm.
such a weird, I mean, I get it. Like these houses were built a long time ago,
Right.
but I know there's been some movement in different realtor organizations to get rid of the language. Do you do you have one that has an example?
Yeah, so I believe what you're talking about are restrictions that are in like deed covenants
Yeah.
on certain real estate transactions. So, and it's crazy to think that in 2021 here that this is even a topic of conversation here.
But not
From
really
a
because the deeds never change really, right?
Right. So the historical record of a property goes back to the original land grant on the property. So
Right.
anything that's happened in our history is essentially recorded in that chain of title going back all the way again to the original land grants when the
Right.
government gave people property to come out west in Ohio out west and start settling the land. So yeah,
Right.
so it used to be that people would put restrictions in either like a subdivision or a plat or even a deed restriction on an individual property that said this property could only be sold to white people.
Right.
And they had restrictions in their deeds that would say that that's the rule. You can't do anything else.
Yeah.
But fortunately, over time, people realized, what a mistake that was, and it's actually been a very long time since then. That's technically been okay. But not, it's never, it's always not
Yeah.
long enough. But
Right.
in 1968, they passed the 1968 Fair Housing Act, and that essentially said that any restrictions placed on any deed or any plat or any subdivision even prior to 1968 is meaningless and it's unenforceable. So
I mean, of course it's unenforceable, right? But like,
right.
why isn't it removed?
So I think the reason, so technically it's the stuff is still there. It's not enforceable. Anything post 1968, you can't put it in.
Okay.
But the reason why it's not removed is because it's just the historical records of the property. So even if you go in and change it and remove those types of restriction, that if you go back in the chain of title, it's still technically still in there. You can't amend a record that's already in place. So what
That
they can
makes sense.
do, yeah. So what you can do is say you had a plat restriction again that says that this subdivision, no houses in here can be sold to anyone that's not white.
Mhm.
What they can do is have, if they can get, I believe it, I'm not an attorney, but I believe if you get 75% of the group to come in and
Like the
say,
neighborhood.
right, to say that they want to get rid of that, they can go about getting it removed from the restrictions. And then, but they would have to have someone draft it and have it recorded, and it's a whole big process getting everyone to do that. But even if it's removed, there's still that
It's still
historical.
there.
It's just a stain on our history, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's anything in place for them to be able to go back and strike that from the records.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, I know. I
Because
agree.
I hear what you're saying. Like, even if you moving forward removed it, right?
Mhm.
Or like created these new deeds, it's
Right.
like still there.
Right. Yeah. So like any new deed that's taken place after 1968 would remove any type of that language anyways,
Okay.
just because it's irrelevant and it's unenforceable and wrong. But
Wait, you
anything
said
post,
any new deed moving forward does remove the
yeah,
language?
you can remove that language because it's no longer enforceable. It's no longer relevant.
Who removes it? The title company?
Yeah, it would be the title company when they're preparing the new deed. If there is any type of restriction, they just omit that because again,
It's not enforceable. So
it's
it
not
already really
enforceable.
is removed. Is that
Exactly.
an Ohio specific thing?
No, it's for the whole entire country. That the Ohio or the Fair Housing Act 1968 covers it was actually a Supreme Court case, and it encompasses the entire nation. But like I said, the problem is there's historical records in there that just cannot be fixed. Anything going forward is fixed, but I believe the stuff that's in the past, they can't amend the records of the in the change of title.
But that's weird that they do amend it moving forward, because I've seen some. I mean,
Yeah.
not when we were working with your title company, but like I've seen them. So they didn't amend them.
Well, yeah. Well, I would definitely, if you saw that pop up, I might make mention of it. Hey, why do you have that in there? And the thing is like I said, going forward post 1968, it's not, you're not really, it's like I said, it's unenforceable restrictions.
You're just making up words now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, got tongue tied here. So, but like I said, I think there has been some push. I think I can't remember which county it was in 2016 or 2017. One of the audit or one of the recorders at one of the local counties, either Warren or Butler, had filed some case to ask if they can amend or kind of alter their online documents, that if you searched for an old plat or an old covenant or something, that they could take out that language, because like I said, it's unenforceable. It would still be there in the public record, but if you search for it online, you wouldn't be able to find it. I don't know where that case went. I don't believe it was ever finalized, or if they were allowed to be able to do that, but they were kind of using it the same way that the counties were using to be able to hide like public officials' names and addresses of public, again, online. They pass some sort of rule saying that they, of course, they can protect themselves, but be able
or
to
like what they paid for it too.
Right, you're right. They can hide.
That actually should be a topic. How come sometimes it shows 0? Like we'll do that.
How people can kind of hide their transactions.
Yeah.
So everything, I don't know. It's as hard as you try. If you search hard enough, you can figure out pretty much anything. So, but yeah, there are certain things that you can do to kind of keep your name out of the public out of the public record, the public domain. And it used to be back, a while ago, and they used to actually publish all the transfers in the newspaper, and that was kind of a place of gossip, where they would say, oh, so and so bought a house in Mount Adams for this much money, and it was kind of a big deal. And that was the original way that they were starting to kind of hide that, because you used to have to actually go down to the county to be able to search public records. Now you just get online and you can pretty much search anyone. Yeah. So, but as technology changes, it seems like there's always a lag in actually being able to keep up with the times, I guess.
Yeah, because it takes something, right? So even if like in this case the deeds are getting changed as people move and buy, you still have a whole group of people in that neighborhood that don't ever move. And so then if you want their deeds changed too, like they may be like, why? Who cares? If it's enforceable and I'm not selling,
and it's going to probably cost them, unless someone's doing the work for free, it's going to cost them some money to go ahead and go about getting everything changed. It's not like something that anyone can just do and just create a new deed and or file a new restrictions. And there's homeowners associations that have those types of terrible language in them as well. And there's certain ones that those should be amended too. But again, the process of getting everybody together and just to do anything, it seems like these days is difficult.
Right. It's expensive and difficult for sure. No, that makes sense. Well, it's really interesting because it's come up a couple of times. Like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, and it's great to know that if anyone is wondering out there, that it's illegal to discriminate based on any protected class.
Race,
it's just
religion,
in any class that's considered a protected group. So there's people don't need to be worried about, discrimination as far as when it comes to that. But like I said, it is a stain on history that is still part of the records of real estate.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dave, that knows all things title, Fidelity land title. Remind us again which states you can do title work in.
Yeah, so we operate here out of Cincinnati, but we cover the entire state of Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota.
So many states. And what's the best way to get a hold of you?
The best way to reach out to us is via our website, fidelitylandtitle.com.
Perfect. Well, thanks for being on, Dave.
Well, thanks for having me. Yep.
Bye.